Tomorrow.
David, we have a superstar in our midst. After playing for the Dallas Cowboys and Denver Broncos during his NFL career, Crawford Kerr was forced to retire early due to injury. That happens to a lot of players, but what happened next is very rare. He had about $500,000 left in his bank account, but he invested every penny toward his dream of conquering the restaurant industry, and now Kerr's business is booming. What's behind the success that he learned on the gridiron? Joining me now, Big Daddy himself, Crawford Kerr, that was his nickname, right? Former NFL player and founder of Kerr's WingHouse Bar and Grill, where Crawford, your number one seller is naked wings. Do tell.
Naked wings. Well, naked wings, we take all the skin off them, so we call them naked.
Okay.
And it's one of our specialty items, so it's great to be on your program.
Oh, we're thrilled to have you, but your story's really interesting, particularly because you took some of the lessons that you learned to become a successful football player right to a restaurant idea. That's a very tough business to enter. Why the restaurant business?
Well, my dad was in the restaurant business, so I was always around it growing up. Before I played football, I was a waiter, and I worked in various restaurants. So when I retired, I used a lot of my football background in the pictures into my sports bar restaurant, which is the WingHouse, and I was lucky to get a great location, and it took off.
That was 1994 in Largo, and now 24 locations later, you've sold but are still running the business. You sold to an organization called Third Lake. Let's talk about the successful things that you learned on the field that helped you really win. And when it comes to the restaurant industry, and we can put some of these up, set achievable goals. That one I found really interesting because in essence you're saying make it a game of inches, not a game of miles, so that you keep your projections realistic.
Yes, I mean, I believe that, small goals, small, medium, large goals are very important because a lot of times you get overwhelmed by setting too high standards, and you get very disappointed when you don't meet them. So in football, it's about, not turning the ball over, not fumbling. In business, it's not losing money. And you got to be very careful, and you got to be prepared.
That way, when you make money, it's like the icing on the cake. What about pass the ball? To me, that's simply saying that what you have to do is let go and trust others. That can be difficult for a lot of people.
Well, it's a control thing. I mean, is a position that I played was offensive guard. So I always had my hands full blocking a Reggie White, but I didn't worry too much about what Emmitt Smith was doing or Troy Aikman. So it's very important to delegate in your business so that your team could have success.
That's hard to do because there are a lot of high-achieving people who say, I need to do every single thing. You talk about building a dream team. Other things, be a great coach, wear your protective gear. That means get a great lawyer, make sure you're insured properly. But go back to building a dream team. What is the number one thing you do to make sure you find the best employees who may actually want to get paid more but will take a shot with you?
Well, it's two ways you do it. A lot of times you get people that are very good in their industry, and you got to look at their background, you got to interview well. And, the most important thing is the track record. I mean, it's like the NFL. If you're a great coach, you always have a job, but there's only so many jobs and so many top people. So, I learned, off two of the best in Tom Landry and Jimmy Johnson, and both of them had a unique style, but I watched them every day, 7 days a week, so I picked up some of it.
Do you still do the dishes sometimes when you're shorthanded?
I will do whatever it takes. So, I got a motto that, whatever it takes, no job is too big or too small. So you do whatever it takes.
We got to go, Crawford, but listen, the deflate gate issue, is that going to affect the Patriots psychologically? It's what everybody's going to be asking about.
I think everyone's talking about that, but the bottom line is Bill Belichick, Tom Brady, those guys, I mean, they get very focused. So I just think it's a media blitz right now, but I don't think deflating the footballs helped them beat the Colts.
All right, if anybody's...
Not by 45 anyway.
Okay, there's your prediction. Crawford, it's great to see you. And if anybody's down in Florida, go check out one of the 24 locations of the WingHouse. It's great to see you. Thank you.
Thank you, Liz.
Crawford Kerr. David, good.